How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. So just before we get started, you probably heard it. We do record our consultations, so it's on the form and everything like that, as well as like our in-person lessons and board trains and all that stuff. So just a heads up on that.
Okay.
So go ahead and just fill me in with any important information that you think I should know about, and like your goals and everything like that, and then we'll go from there. And I'll be taking notes as we go along as well.
Okay, cool. So Hank, who just left the screen, is our golden retriever. He's a little bit over 1 year. I think he's like 1 year, 5 months. And I think what we're really hoping to get out of this, we put him in some like puppy training classes when he was young. We went to like Anything Is Possible and did like the basic trainings and stuff, but we're really hoping to kind of get his recall under control, his attentiveness to us and to listen to us, whether that be outside or in the house. Honestly, I think he gets distracted very easily. If there are other dogs around, he's quick to want to say hi to those dogs. Or if there's a stranger that wants to greet him, he's very quick to get overly excited and he leaves his paws immediately. He is almost impossible to settle down when a stranger is saying hi to him. He just wants to jump. We've tried stepping on the leash, and even then we've noticed it's really hard to keep him under control. He just gets really excited when he sees other people. Those are kind of the big ones.
Yeah, he was neutered like almost 4 weeks ago or almost 5 weeks ago, and I feel like he's had so much more energy since then. So we want to be able to like take him on longer walks and do things like that. But I mean, he's like on patrol right now. So we just want to get him better behaved at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Leash walking, I guess. He has a tendency to pull quite a bit. Sometimes he'll be good for like stretches, and then other times he just has his sights set on something or wants to smell a tree or say hi to a dog, and he is just impossible to move. And he'll pull, he'll stop in his tracks. And then he has like outbursts on the leash as well. Like if we're just walking, it's like something clicks in him and he freaks out and just starts wanting to play and tug on the leash and jump on us, which is, I think, typical of puppy behavior, but it's kind of a nuisance when we're out, walking him around.
Got it. Okay. And then what do you guys walk him on? Like a harness or a gentle leader or a flat collar?
We have a front clip harness, and then with like a leash that has like a loop kind of close to his neck, like right here, and then like a longer loop in the back. But we try to keep him like right next to us for most of his walks, and then just like treating him along the way.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, that harness is definitely going to be something you're going to want to switch out for, because that's the tool that's going to give you the least amount of control. So it sounds like at first the harness, is on like the body, so then it sounds like you can control the body more. But dogs are most strongest with the chest. And dogs also have what's called opposition reflex. Do you know what that means?
No.
So basically, when you pull back for Hank on the harness, Hank pulls forward. When you pull forward, he wants to go backwards. When you pull left, he goes right, he goes left. He always wants to go against the pressure that's being communicated to the harness to the chest. Harnesses are used for like huskies because, again, they need that opposition reflex to pull the sled. We also use harnesses to teach protection training. So handler has a dog on a harness. Across from the handler and the dog is the person in like the big old bite suit who's going to get bit, right? So the handler pulls back on the dog, but then releases the tension a little bit. So he's basically pulling, and when he pulls, the dog wants to go forward. They let the dog go a little bit forward so the dog gets what he wants, but then they pull him back again. So as they keep repeating this, it starts to become very frustrating. Once we've created enough frustration that can turn into aggression, then we let the leash go and then they do their thing, right? So harnesses are used for certain things, but that tool is not going to help you for your leash walking or even just controlling Hank, because dogs are more stronger than here, right? There are other tools that you might see like gentle leaders. Gentle leaders are a good tool because now it's on the head, right? So basically, when you control the head, you control the whole body, right? But what might happen with the gentle leader is he might, as we've seen commonly, is that maybe in the beginning you'll see a difference, but then over time he's like, oh, this isn't that bad. I'm gonna go back to being, jumping and everything like that, because he's just gonna look like this and jumping on the person.
Yeah.
But does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I know you might see like what's it called, no pull harness, like on the tag. It's basically just an oxymoron. They are meant for pulling. That's why there are harnesses. But we don't use harnesses, not even on our puppies. For our puppies, we do use the gentle leader, because if we're using a flat collar as a puppy, they can get the trachea can collapse. We don't use harnesses because in the beginning you might not see it become an issue because they're just a tiny puppy. It doesn't matter. But in the puppy, they are still slowly building up to like the frustration. So sometimes, if our owner's putting a puppy on a harness, puppy sees another puppy or another person, they pull the puppy away, unintentionally could be creating a protection trained dog. But that's just like, if it's like escalating. So like, how do I say, if the pulling and like the frustration goes on for a longer period of time, then it can turn into reactivity, right? Dogs are very, they can't use English vocabulary to communicate. So maybe let's say Hank just keeps practicing these behaviors on their walks. It's definitely not going to get better with the harness. It's just going to start to escalate, because now he's getting more frustrated, because like every time I see a dog, I get the tension on my harness, and then it's just going to keep repeating, and then it'll turn and escalate to other behaviors. Here and there, you'll see it turn into aggression, but that's like if it's like really like an intense, because it all breeds also have like a play in that role. So like usually like for a bully and like a pity breeds, those are more intense breeds. So like if you're telling me I have a reactive golden retriever and you have a reactive pit bull, I already know that pity is probably going to be the more intense one, just because of the breed. I play ball with my golden, I play ball with my pity. I already know that pity is going to be more intense because the breed is just intense in everything they do. Food drive, prey drive, everything is more intense than like a reactive golden retriever or a reactive German Shepherd or anything like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We have other tools as well. So like that you might have heard of, like prong collars. Have you guys heard of prong collars before?
Yes.
Prong collars are a good step forward to having more control, because prong collars might eliminate the choking part of what a regular collar would do. I say might because you do have a golden retriever, so a lot of times Goldens, Labs, and those bully breeds can override the prong collar. The reason why Goldens and Labs tend to do it is because they're so happy-go-lucky. They're just kind of like still wiggling after it. They kind of have a hard time perceiving like threat and things like that. So they're just like, what's going on? Like they're just so a lot of times we see those breeds still override the prong collar. Again, all dogs are different, so I'm not saying every dog, but most of those breeds, most of the dogs that are that breed tend to override it. For prong collar, you can teach heel, stay, sit down, calm, place. So you can teach all those commands. The only issue would be is that you would always have to have your leash on, so you don't get an off-leash recall unless you're connected to the prong collar. The reason why some dogs are able to respond very well to prong collar is because prong collar like the way it's shaped and everything. I'm assuming you've seen one. They're like, it looks like they have spikes on them. They're not pointy, they're rounded tips, and they're meant to mimic a dog bite. So what you're doing when you're using a prong collar on a dog is you're giving your dog physicality, right? Physical pressure. Dogs have been receiving and maybe giving physicality since they were 3 weeks, 4 weeks old. There's a really popular YouTube video online of a cream retriever, or maybe a lab, but it's like a cream golden, or not golden, cream lab, and she's entering a playpen with like 8 puppies. And as soon as she enters, they all like bombard her. They're jumping on her, they're whining, you know, they're on top of her. She stops, you hear her growl, you can see her show her teeth as well, and she snaps at 3 puppies, and then you hear them yelp and everything like that. But then everyone else walks away and then lay down, and it's just quiet, right? So a lot of times you'll hear owners or dog trainers say, oh, you can't correct a puppy, it's just a puppy. You absolutely can. Mother's already been doing it before you got the puppy. You can do that. A lot of owners also think that certain behaviors when your dog is a puppy might just go away. Usually doesn't happen. If anything, it's just gonna become a habit that's gonna keep getting practice. And then the day you're like, okay, we need to address it. Well, the dog's been doing it since 3 months old, and the dog's already like 3 years old. And you know what I mean? You're going against 3 years of a practice behavior.
Yeah.
What else? So that physicality, that communication to the dogs is something they understand immediately. So that's why you might see or hear, you know, try a prong collar. It was amazing. I just put it on. My dog just knew what to do. It happens sometimes. Sometimes, again, they override it. They don't care about it. Does that make sense about the prong collar?
Yeah.
There's a lot of tools and a lot of methods out there. You know, we do use positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement for us, we use it for puppies under 6 months. So like just like the fun stuff for puppies, make everything fun for them and creating a foundation. Positive reinforcement is good for things you want to see. Positive reinforcement doesn't work for things you do not want to see. So if you're trying to teach Hank to not jump on your guests, right? Food can sometimes maybe create too much excitement. But first you would have to teach him to not jump on a person. Once he knows to not jump on a person, then you can start using the food, because now you're rewarded for that decision he's making. A lot of times food isn't even that important for dogs if they see another dog or another human,
Right.
or familiar, especially if it's a familiar face, doesn't work. Because when they're shaking your turkey in front of the dog's nose, but then they see another dog or a person, they're literally thinking, you know, I want to play with that dog. I've never met that dog. I don't think I have, but I got this turkey earlier. I'm gonna get it later anyways as well, but I might not get to play with that dog later. So I'm gonna choose the dog or the squirrel or the bike or whatever it is they want to want to chase or play with. So just for things like that, it has a very like low like ceiling, right? Positive reinforcement. Prong collar, better of the tools that are like, you know, harnesses and gentle leaders and flat collars, but again, you might struggle there as well. It's also very like very nuanced, right? With like the pressure and like how you hold the leash, you know, giving the dog pressure or physicality as well as that. Any questions so far?
So what do you think we should be using then? Like, should we just be using the flat collar, or is that not good? Should we look into a prong collar? Like,
Yeah, so we don't have programs for prong collars. We only incorporate it with our electronic collars. You guys
okay,
know,
we have one.
We have one. Yeah.
what's
We
the
don't really know how to use it though.
what's the brand?
It's the Dogtra.
Oh, nice. Do you know the model?
I can grab it. My parents have a golden retriever as well, and they use a Dogtra on their dog, so that's why I got it. It's charging right now. He's grabbing it. We bought it like in the winter, but we haven't really used it because we pretty much just need to be trained on it.
IQ Plus.
IQ Plus.
Oh, okay. So the IQ plus, those are meant for like Chihuahuas and Yorkies. So you're gonna
okay.
you're gonna struggle big time with that. So
Okay.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger.
yeah. So when did you purchase that?
In December.
Oh, so I forget. Did you buy it directly from Dog Chart or like Amazon or?
We got it from Amazon.
Okay, I'm not sure what like their return policy is or anything like that, but yeah, I'd probably get rid of that as soon as you can. Try to get your money back or sell it on Facebook or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so for that, that's not going to help you. You're going to struggle and it's not going to work out. So it's not that, because you still I don't know, I think you get like 100 levels with that, I believe still.
Yeah, there's 100.
Yeah, other models will still go to like either 100 or 127. But
Okay.
that 100, right, that level 100 for that model is different than like a model that was meant for his size. They're stronger.
Okay.
So like I remember I was trying out an IQ plus for fun with my German Shepherd, and like her regular working like functioning number on her correct model is like 30 40s around there, and on the IQ mini, I was using the IQ mini, it was like 90. She would start to feel it. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah,
So
then
you think it's the 200C?
I'm sorry,
Is the 200C the one that you would suggest? Do you know?
the one that you're going to want it, the model that you're going to want is going to be either the 1900S Black edition or the 2300 NCP. Now the 1900S Black edition, we sell them, but they told us that they're sold out. I'm not sure if it's like just in general they're sold out, or they're just sold out for like retailers. Like they can't.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
I see.
So the 1900S Black edition, if you can, that's the strongest collar. Now, the reason why I'm choosing the strongest collar, so that's the regular. So you want to find the Black edition.
Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
But the reason why I want this model or the 2300 is because we worked with the Goldens before. They are tough. They are tough dogs. They're tough. So to have more power and more room, right, would definitely help you guys out for Hank.
Okay.
For the model, I would definitely, or for your current model, try either selling it or getting your money back with that.
Okay.
What was I supposed to say? But yeah, for Hank, I think he just needs a e-collar would be best for you, because I already know that we can get to 90 to 100% of reliable obedience up to office with e-collar right off the bat.
Wow.
So a lot of times you'll hear other trainers or dog owners say, you have to do prong collar first, then e-collar, or do positive reinforcement first, prong collar, then e-collar. You don't need to do all that stuff. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You can just jump straight to e-collar. We've done e-collar training for as soon as a dog hits 6 months, they can be put on e-collar training. 6 months because the brain has developed enough to understand this sort of pressure. And by 6 months, owners tend to, how do I put it? Once their puppy hits 6 months, most owners are like, fine, we'll do it because of the puppy or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
We can do young as 3 months. It's more for like a trainer to do because it's very nuanced. A lot of food you need to do and you need to be patient with it. We usually don't do it often because people have a hard time seeing a 3-month-old puppy with a big old box on their neck. So that's like another reason. But we've done old dogs, like 13, 12-year-old dogs on e-collars, all different types of breeds, Shih Tzus, Chihuahuas, Yorkies, up to the Great Dane, Irish Wolfhounds. We had one last year. She was really nice. And any behavior. So like for Hank, it sounds like you're just wanting to address the mannerisms and general obedience. That's all. E-collar can also work for dogs who have, you know, who struggle with fear, anxiety, aggression. We've done all types of different dogs with the e-collar. The feeling. Have you felt the e-collar before? Did you feel the stimulation?
Yes.
Yeah, the vibration.
No, just the like on your remote, it would say N, I think. Have you felt the N, the nick?
Oh, have we felt N?
Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like it feels like a pulse, right? We don't use the vibration for training. We only use it to see if the collar's on. Because with vibration, all dogs respond different to it. Some dogs are completely thrown off by it because for vibration, there's no level. It's just vibration. There's no low or high. It's just what it is. So sometimes dogs freak out too much with it, and they're flighty, and then they just can't. They don't understand what's going on.
Mhm.
So then that's why the stimulation would be best, because now you can lower it to a level that isn't going to freak them out, but we obviously need some sort of concern from a reaction that's showing us that they're concerned about the number. Or maybe because sometimes owners would say, yeah, he's doing great on vibration, but then after like a month, he didn't care about it anymore, right? So that's why we don't use it, or even like as a warning or anything like that. So we only use the stimulation part of it. As you probably already know, they're waterproof. You get up to a mile to a half mile long range. They're very easy to use. What else? Do you know where like the technology comes from?
No.
No.
So that technology, that same feeling, is the exact same technology that physical therapists and chiropractors use for their clients. Have you ever had stim or like a TENS unit?
No.
So it's just like a muscle contractor they use it for like torn muscles. So we've had clients who have had that machine on them, and they feel it and like, oh wow, this is the exact same feeling. Or a physical therapist would say, yeah, it's just like a mini TENS unit on a collar. That's all it is. So it puts clients' minds to ease, because now they're understanding like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, then yeah, I'm fine with it, right? Once they understand that it's not like a shock, right? Shock, it's electric, yes, but it's not like electricity flowing through the body. It's just whatever those two little points are touching is what it's going to be contracting on the dog. Any questions about the e-collar?
So I just want to make sure this one.
Yeah, that's the 2300 NCP. That would be that's the next one I would recommend if you can't find the black edition.
Okay, yeah, I could at least on like Amazon, the black edition, the 1900S black.
Yeah, I would try Dogtra, the actual the company's website.
Okay.
But the 2300 should still be appropriate.
Okay.
What else? So the reason why or how e-collar would help Hank, right? Because Hank needs some sort of, it sounds like he needs some sort of like discipline, right? In his language, right? So like I said before, dogs can't really communicate to each other. They can't use English or anything like that. So when you're at the dog park, you don't hear dogs saying no, leave it to each other, or like off, or put each other in timeouts, or even like neuter or spay or give each other drugs, right? Because sometimes owners would do that for like anxiety and stuff like that. They don't do that, right? If Hank is bothering an older dog at the dog park, and you can tell this older dog isn't a fan of Hank, how do you think that older dog will let Hank know to stop playing with them?
Just like growling or snapping. Yeah.
Exactly. And Hank is probably going to receive that correction. That's what it's called, a correction. And Hank's going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go away and play with someone else, because this dog was not a fan of me, because he got serious with me. So what needs to happen is, again, some sort of discipline in his language to communicate to him that, hey, buddy, you don't do that. And it's just easy, just very simple and clear communication to Hank. So a lot of times owners think, so dog does bad behavior and then you blast him, right? That's not how e-collar works. The dog first needs to understand what the feeling is and that it turns off eventually, right? Because if you put him in a situation where we know he's going to be excited and we're just blasting him, I'm going to expect to see a lot of frustration and confusion versus just the simple response of, oh, don't jump on him, because you have to like work your way there, right? So the first exercise that we would need to teach Hank would be our heel command. Our version of heel is our walking command, which is walk with me, stay with me, and sit when I stop. So when you take 5 steps with Hank, Hank takes 5 steps. When you take 10, he takes 10. And then when you come to a stop on your walk, Hank is to automatically sit with no words said, with his shoulder parallel with your leg at all times, moving and stopping. The shoulder should be right here with your leg, right?
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
So that's our heel command, and that's what we would teach you right first. So why we teach this is, first reason, again, having him understand what this feeling is and how it turns on and how it turns off. Hank will never know that you're the one pressing the button, right? Because there's nothing connected to you in the feeling versus like a prong collar, right? If you give him a correction like a leash pop or a tug, you'll see sometimes dogs look directly to you because they see it connected to your body, right? E-collar, that doesn't happen. I think I had a client say like, "Oh, Big Brother is talking to them," or it's just like it's just something that's happening, and then they are able to understand, okay, I'm the one in control of it, right? So a common concern would be like, is my dog going to hate me because I'm electrocuting them or something like that? No, because he doesn't know where it's coming from. And we've also never seen you've never seen that happen. Like a personality change doesn't really happen. So Hank will still be goofy and everything like that. It's just going to be more under control. That's all.
Cool.
He's going to be understanding what the feeling is. We're also going to be addressing your leash walking skills and teaching the heel and everything. And then your third thing we'll be addressing is kind of like the overstimulation and the engagement in others. So overstimulation is something else I'm kind of getting from Hank, which is kind of like, he doesn't really know what to do on the walks. He's kind of like scouting and like, what's going on? He's just smelling at the ground. He's just kind of in his own world. And another common, I don't want to say symptom, but like another sign that a dog is overstimulated is when like I hear a client say, I take my dogs for like, 5 walks a day, try them all the time and fetch. And then my dog still wants to do stuff when I get home. That's also a sign of overstimulation, because physically, yes, you are exercising your dog, but mentally nothing's happening. So they're always wired. They always want to play because they're never tired, because their brain is stuck. It wants to keep going. Does that make sense? So you might see when we're teaching him the structured walk that he's going to be a little bit more calmer and tired. Now, the reason you're going to notice this is because it's very tiring and mentally draining to keep that shoulder on your hip throughout the whole walk, right? So that might be another thing you're seeing. But then mentally, he's getting worked, so he's gonna be more satisfied when he goes home. You might see a more calmer dog in like that sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
So that's the heel. That's what sounds like needs to be done for Hank. It's just some sort of discipline and structure for him, so that he has some sort of a guide and he knows what to do on these walks. Then he knows, okay, this is what I need to be doing. I know there's a person over there, right? But this is important to me. So that's like the idea and like the psychology behind heel is that, well, if we're teaching our dog to walk nice, how is that going to fix his engagement with others? It's the idea behind it, that this should be, if this is important and this is concerning, that shouldn't matter then, right? Because he's more worried about this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions about the e-collar or anything like that?
I don't think I have any,
Not
no.
at the moment. Yeah.
So there's a common question owners have asked in the past, which would be, you know, does the e-collar come off eventually? Is it on forever, every day, overnight? You know, how does that work? So after you do the program, after you've done the training, after you've noticed he's definitely more behaved, you still want to keep your e-collar on during your walks. So the reason why we keep our e-collar on during our walk is just because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk. So let's say we're walking on a busy street, a car crash happens, our car backfires, or a firework shoots in the air, and it's not even the 4th of July, and he gets freaked out, right? And then maybe he gets scared and wants to run away. We've heard tons of horror stories where, like, you know, owners get pulled to the ground, break fingers, collars slip, leashes slip, something happens, and the dog just takes off, right? When a dog does that in those type of scenarios, we call it flight mode. And when dogs are in flight mode, they're thinking kill or be killed. They're running for their life. So sometimes Hank come might not work. Maybe if the owner's been following through and like the recall is that important, but it might not work. But then you have your remote to override the flight mode and make him do the 180 and come back to you in those situations. So just because of like those things we can't predict on our walks, we always want to make sure that we have some sort of tool that when something happens, we have control. At least we are the ones in control, right? So like, you know, my dogs, Jesse's dogs, our trainer's dogs here, we only press the button maybe like 3 times a month, right? For emergencies, 2 times here and there. Because we've done all the hard work at the beginning. We've done all the use of the collar. Now we're not using it anymore, but it's just still on in case something does happen.
Right.
Especially if he's off leash, definitely want to have it on. Off leash in an enclosed area like a dog park setting, still want to have it on. I think Jesse had a client where they were walking in like Lincoln Park and they turned the corner, there was a coyote just standing there, but they had their e-collar and they immediately called their dog and then the coyote ran away, right? Because dogs tend to like want to chase the coyote and then that just doesn't end well. There was also another client who was at like a park area and they were playing fetch with their dog, but their dog was a resource guarder. So that's why they were away from everyone playing fetch. And then out of nowhere, a dog just books it for the ball she just threw for her dog. So she had to use the e-collar to catch her dog before he got to that ball, because if they met here, there would have been a fight. So even though she's away from everyone, she still kept the e-collar on just in case, you know, something happens like that. In the home, if it's just you two and Hank, you're not expecting any guests come over, he just hangs out with you, then there's no reason to have the e-collar on. If you're gonna have guests come over and you know he jumps on them, or maybe the guest doesn't like dogs and he stops his jumping, you would still collar him up 30 minutes prior, address whatever that is needing to be addressed. And if you find that Hank is settled throughout the rest of the guest's stay, then you can take it off. Or if you're like, I'm gonna keep it on just in case, you can do that as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? Cool. So program wise, you know, we have in person, we have the board and train program, we also have the daycare and train. Is there a certain program you guys were leading more towards to?
I think we were leaning, like, if we could rank them, probably the daycare and train, and then the board and train would be second.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So from what I'm hearing, Hank, again, just general obedience, board and train or the daycare train would be good programs for you. So the daycare and train, you kind of just like drop him off and you pick him up at the end of the day, and he's getting trained during the day. He will learn, heel, stay, sit down, come, place, all 6 commands with the e-collar. We have the 5-day, 10-day, 15, and 20. So it all comes down to of like how much control are you wanting for Hank. So if your main focus is kind of like just like the jumping and the overexcitement and just like some general obedience, I'm thinking like the 10-day care and train would be a good program for you. The 15 and 20 day are there for like if you want us to practice more obedience with them, just get more practice in. So basically, the 20 day is basically for owners who want everything, and they want it. They go like hiking every other weekend. They need them off leash trained, completely off leash trained, and they need all those fancy commands as well. 10-day care and train is basically there because I'm feeling like, you just want a controlled walk. You want that recall, and you want it to just be less or controlling the excitement. I think the 10-day care and train would be good for you for those reasons. The 15-day is there if you like want to suppress more stationary control. So like if you want to take them to like a patio or like an outdoor patio, right? And you want them to lay down and not move for 2 hours, 3 hours, wherever it is, then you probably want a little bit more classes so that we can practice that.
Okay.
What was I about to say? For the daycare and train programs, you get videos for every 5 days. So if you do the 10-day, 2 videos, 15-day, 3 videos, 20-day, 4 videos. First video for any program, it's called the introductory sessions. So it's going to be one of our trainers, Elias, teaching Hank heel, stay, sit down, calm, place, all for the first time on video, so that you can see, how does he take the econ for the first time, because it's important for an owner to know that when they do their follow-up lesson, they might see their dog respond quickly, and it's just so easy and looks good. But it's important for you guys to know like how we got there, like the work we had to do to accomplish this, and how we had to teach him so to get to this point. So those will be on video. Once Elias teaches Hank these commands, then the other trainers, the other handlers can start to do the repetitions. So then he's getting constantly trained all day, every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't training. He could be playing with dogs. He can be doing duration work, which is stay in your bed, don't hop off while stuff is going on. He could be doing treadmill time. We have treadmills here as well. Or he might be on a training walk. So like the regular daycare dog, how their day looks is an hour rest and an hour activity. Hank, since he's a daycare and train, is going to be getting a lot more activity because he's a daycare and train. What else? Any questions about that so far?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
The board and train, we have the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and a 4 week program. From what I'm hearing, the 2 week program would be good for you guys. You still get 2 videos. It's basically the same thing, except now he's just with us overnight. So then we're basically getting more training sessions in with him from morning to evening. And then it just gives us more time to work with him.
Okay.
But that's more like if, a lot of times owners choose the board and train if like, I'm going to go out of town these dates. So I might as well take advantage of having him board because I'm going out of town, and then might as well get him trained while he's there as well.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the board and train program?
What type of like availability do you guys have? Are you kind of booked up or?
For board and train, we just finished our last batch. We got a new one today. Or we have 2 right now. The most we can have is like 4 to 5. So for daycare train, that doesn't really matter, the availability, because it's just like every other day we get a dog that's coming for a daycare train, then they go home. It's not we can have, I don't think we can have like a maximum on that, maybe like 7, I would say, just because of every day.
Okay.
But board and trains and the daycare trains were you can start pretty soon if you wanted that.
Okay.
There's something else I was going to say. Oh, with the board and train and daycare and train programs, you get what's called follow-up lessons. So those are lessons to kind of transfer the obedience to you guys. Because at first, when you're doing the daycare and train, visit him, say you come to visit him during his board and train program, right? You're going to see him act the same as he was before, right?
Okay.
But the follow-up lessons are there for us to transfer everything to you so that you know how to use the tool, and to let him know that, hey, buddy, Enrique's not here, Elias isn't here. It's now it's mom, and you still need to do the same thing for mom or dad, right? So a common concern would be like, if I do the board and train, is he only going to listen when you're here, like when the trainer's there, and then you leave and then he's back to normal, or back to like his old stuff, or how does that work? That technically rarely happens with e-collar, because it's let's say in the videos, Elias is working with Hank, and then he finds Hank's number to be like working number 30, right? Hank is very responsive at 30. He does all the commands, no issues. 30 is great for him. When you come and you take the tools and everything, and you press him on 30, it's still 30, right? So there's no, he's stronger than him, that's why he listens, or he's stricter than her. 30 is 30 for everyone. So that's why it's so easily transferable, because it's the same feeling.
Right. Well, yeah, and I guess definitely to your point that like he doesn't know who's hitting the button, right? So like he doesn't know if like Enrique's hitting the button.
Exactly. So it's just going to be us teaching you how to use the remote, seeing you're practicing correctly, and teaching you like the exercises and like the body language stuff. So like once he recognizes, oh, mom's doing the same things as Enrique, so this is all the same stuff here. What else? Any questions so far?
I don't think so. I'd say our situation is just kind of unique because we're moving to New York in
at the end of the month. So we're like hoping. So I just heard about you guys not last weekend, but the weekend before, from a friend of mine who used you guys and said it was like the most amazing experience she's had. Okay. So then like literally that day I was like canineperspective.com, like tried to find you guys. So we just tried other things in the past, but we really want to get him kind of going on this as soon as possible so that we can kind of like start this new chapter and have like our well-behaved dog. We know we have to work on it, but it seems like maybe like the e-collar training is just like what's going to work for him. Like we've tried, as you were saying, like the positive reinforcement and like, all these street training and stuff. And like, it just hasn't really stuck. So that's why we're like pretty motivated to get him going on this like as soon as possible. So whether it be, that's what I was asking about the availability, because whether it be like we need to just get him in for daycare for like 10 days starting as soon as possible, or what, like that's kind of our motivation now.
Got it. Okay. And then you said you're going out of town in how many weeks?
In 3.
Not
or
even
2 and a half.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Got it. Okay. So technically, to get started, you're gonna get a follow-up email from Elizabeth. Elizabeth is going to send you all the information I kind of spoke to you guys about, what e-collar I recommend, the programs I recommend with the prices. She's also going to send you a form or a link that's going to bring you to our program we use for our daycare and boarding dogs, which is called Ginger, where you need to send in a fecal exam that says negative, shot records, just like basic contact information. And then once you kind of get all that set up, then you can go ahead and begin the billing and booking process of like the board and train or daycare and train program. Okay. So she should be sending that either later today or tomorrow. But realistically, if you get all that information sent, you can just start as soon as possible.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, I'm about to like hit go on the collar, and then he is actually getting another fecal exam, or what's it called? Fecal
Bordetella, rabies.
Oh, he's getting all of that
on
Friday because he's due for those like in the next month. So he'll be totally have a clean bill of health by then. So we should have all that up to date, and then we can just get moving.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes, that should work out. Any other questions?
No, this was really helpful.
I will
Like,
say
yeah.
we've met with like several different trainers like in the past year. Like when we first got him, we were using like Good Pup, then we were using like some lady in our neighborhood. Anything's possible. And like by far, this was the most information I've gotten ever. Like
Oh, nice. That's
all
good.
of those combined, like the last like 45 minutes have been just like very interesting and eye-opening. So just want you to know that this was like night and day from anything else we've ever tried, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool. Yeah, and who was do you remember the friend that referred you?
yeah, her last name is Horgan, Horri.
Oh, they have a golden too, I think, right? Bo?
Yes, Bo. Yeah.
I know Bo. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually live in the suburbs. And so when we were talking about it, she was like, oh, it's in Logan Square. I'm like, we live in Bucktown. So I was like, that's actually way closer to us than it is to you guys. So I don't know how she heard about it, but yeah, that's who it is. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, I think Bo will board a lot here. Yeah, I think his videos are on YouTube actually.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, so if you want to get like an idea on how the training is or just more information in general, San Miguel is like the account name, which you can find on our website. And if you just type in, I'm pretty sure it's BEAU. If you type in Bo, you might see them pop up, and you can kind of see, maybe their consultation or like first lesson, how does it look, and everything like that, to get more information on like how the training works, because we post everything on our YouTube channel for everyone to see. And it's also could be like something for you guys as well. So when you move and you're like, oh, what did Enrique say? You can go back to your video and just like rewatch it, and it's always going to be there for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we'll be back pretty frequently here too, because we have family here, and we are going to be back around like Memorial Day anyway. So, so, if we ever need to do like a follow-up or anything, like we'll be around.
For sure. Cool. Any other questions?
I think I'm
feeling
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited, honestly.
So yeah, like I said, she's gonna send you a follow-up email. If any questions do come up or any concerns, feel free to email me and I'll help you guys out. But other than that, yeah, this is nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, it's just general obedience. So it's nothing new to us. But other than that, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll just be in touch, and then you'll just keep a lookout for Elizabeth's email.
Okay,
Totally.
excellent. Yeah, that sounds great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Really, this was fantastic.
Of course, thank you. So yeah, it was nice meeting you guys, and then hopefully we see Hank soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
okay, thanks so much, Enrique.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.